In the last episode, you saw me in Harlan, Kentucky, but today I'm headed back into East Tennessee, and I have something special planned to show you. I'm going to explore the Copperhead Road, made popular by Steve Earle's 1988 song released under the same name. And hopefully, unlike the story told in the song by John Lee Pettimore, I make it back from Copperhead Road. But to get there, I have to pass through one of the nearest towns called Mountain City, Tennessee, which is the county seat of Johnson County, where that big block Dodge came from that had sheriff painted on the side and was primed over in order to run moonshine. This is no Dodge, but it sure is nice to look at. Hey y'all, I'm Josh. This is the Exploring Appalachia series. Let's go see the road behind the song. As I turn here onto Copperhead Road, you'll notice there aren't any markers or road signs. I've heard they can't keep them here because of theft, so you likely won't see any signs on Copperhead Road. And for these same reasons, I won't be showing any mailboxes I'm seeing here with Copperhead Road on them out of respect for people's privacy. You could probably find your way here by using some old maps or asking around for directions or even Google Maps. But they have changed the name of the road, and only slightly, to throw people off a bit. As the song goes, Granddaddy came to town about twice a year to buy 100 pounds of yeast and copper line in order to make his moonshine. You could even smell the whiskey burning down Copperhead Road. Not only is it a good song, but I find the story and the history behind it fascinating. Now, to really get a good picture of this song, you have to know a little about the times and place it was set in. You see, the reason for illicit distilling is purely an economic one, or at least it was in the early days. As one old-timer put it, the main reason for this moonshining, as Ewins calls it, is bad roads. And honestly, he was right. In the southern highlands of East Tennessee, Kentucky, and Southwest Virginia, the term moonshiner and moonshining weren't used in the mountains. Here, an illicit distiller was called a blockader. His business was blockading, and his product, that was blockade liquor. Just like the smugglers of Old Britain had called themselves free traders and essentially proclaimed that they risked and fought for principle, even though a criminal in the eyes of the law, he is soundly convinced the law is unjust and he's only exercising his natural rights. In the early 1800s, few roads crossed these mountains, and the ones that did were so bad they made it impossible for the backwoods men to bring their corn and rye to markets, except in concentrated forms. That's corn juice for those of you familiar with the words, "We still get our corn from a jar," but that's another song. You see, farmers of the fertile eastern low country and the seaboard area, they were growing rich from high prices and easy market access, unlike our mountain farmers who struggle with difficult soil conditions, making it hard to till the ground, and transportation routes that simply didn't exist. There was also a scarcity of cash in the mountains, so commerce was carried on by bartering. But at the end of the day, there had to be some way to get cash, to pay taxes and purchase necessities like sugar, salt, and gunpowder, so a still was usually set up on nearly every farm. Now, this type of operation worked just fine to raise cash, even with the cost of transporting the whiskey across mountains, so long as no taxes were laid on it, because taxes would threaten their very ability to survive. Prohibition reared an even uglier head, though. Like the song goes, Revenue Man wanted Granddaddy real bad, so he headed up the holler with everything he had, but he never came back from Copperhead Road. This animosity between distillers and revenuers was intensified because many revenuers were former blockaders themselves who saw how they could make more money by turncoating. They used their authority to abuse people and settle personal scores while inflicting great harm and wrongs on innocent people. Even the Commissioner of Internal Revenue said this in his report of the late 1880s. Prohibition only increased the price on a gallon of moonshine and the risk the mountain folk of Appalachia were willing to take. Driving down back roads like this and the whole Exploring Appalachia series was really born out of my desire to explore my own mountain roots, to understand more about my heritage and where I come from. Several years back, I began digging into my family history, and for a while I thought of myself as Southern. But the more I've explored it, I realize I'm Appalachian if I'm anything. It's a more accurate understanding because Appalachia truly is distinct, even from a lot of Southern culture, although they share some commonalities. My mountain roots go deep here. Ultimately, I want to produce a documentary or docu-series for television, but all the behind-the-scenes trips, scouting locations to explore, I've turned into this series I'm sharing here on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm having quite a bit of fun with it. I hope you are too. Well, we're approaching the end of Copperhead Road. In total, it's about 2 miles long. And like I said, you won't see many, if any, signs here. You'll see some mailboxes still with the name on it, but it's best to leave those where they are. Well, it looks like I'll be coming back from Copperhead Road after all. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the actual road behind the song, and as always, thanks so much for watching these episodes, leaving your comments, sharing your own stories, and all the many suggestions of places I should go explore next. I see your comments. I'm not always able to respond to them, but I do read them. I'm making a list of all the many places in Appalachia you've said I need to go explore, so keep an eye out and stay tuned to future episodes because I may end up in one of those locations. And one other thing, at the end of the last episode when I was in Harlan, Kentucky, I mentioned the possibility that I might set up a Patreon or PayPal account because so many of you have asked how you can help support what I'm doing. One of you left a comment though saying at the bottom of my YouTube videos where I share this on YouTube, there's a super thanks feature. It's a little icon that looks like a heart. And you can donate money that way, I found out. A percentage of that comes to me. That's a new feature to me, so I wasn't even aware of it. If you're not able to support financially, and I never want anyone to feel obligated to do so, the best thing you can do is just watch these episodes and share them with others. Because I think Appalachia, the people here, the places, the stories, that's something worth sharing. So help me do that, and I think we'll be okay. Copperhead Road is actually pretty close to the Tri-City area of East Tennessee. That's Bristol, Kingsport, and Johnson City. I'm going to go spend some time over there, I think, this evening, and we'll see you all in another episode.